Get started here. I just want to give a quick shout out to my wife and daughter who couldn't be here tonight. My wife is due like literally any moment now, so if you see like one of those two tables back there start waving their arms, I might have to jump off the stage and hit the road. When I got the call to let me know I was inducted in the Hall of Pride, instantly the first thing that came to my mind was just how many previous athletes came before me and after me. You know, I started following Heelan sports probably around roughly 1990, give or take, and just the amount of athletes that would come. You know, I grew up going to Heelan football games and basketball games and baseball games like we all did, and I instantly just started thinking about all the athletes that came before me, and just that I would be even in that conversation. It kind of took me back a little bit. So for me to be standing up here and accepting this honor is a huge honor for that, and I thank you for that. When I got to Heelan, honestly, I was just trying to play varsity sports. You know, as we all get to Heelan right away, you see the football team run out in the field, the basketball team, you have all the fans, they're rooting for everyone, and that was my initial goal, was play varsity. You know, get the gold helmet, get the varsity uniform, and for me to be standing here right now is honestly, it's hard to believe that I got this far, and I separated myself from that many athletes, that many good athletes, to be standing here right now. It's honestly hard to believe when I think back about the athletes that have come through the doors there. Like you've heard mentioned before, our uniforms at Heelan were beautiful, especially the football uniforms modeled after Notre Dame. The basketball and baseball uniforms are beautiful. The pit was amazing. Anyone that's been in the pit, the atmosphere in there was unbelievable. But really, what made Heelan was the people. I was surrounded by amazing teachers, coaches, teammates. At a time in my life where you kind of need that. Where I turned in from a boy to a man at Heelan. I think everyone was involved in that. It's kind of crazy when my first, I don't know if it was my first, but my most vivid memories of Heelan, actually my baseball career was, I was in 8th grade. And my father and I went out to Starkville, Iowa. And we met with Coach Archer there. And I was in 8th grade at that time, about to try out for the Heelan baseball team, and he had us over to his house just to, get to know us a little bit, kind of give us a rundown of the program. And I remember Coach brought out a Heelan varsity hat. And this is, I don't know, if anyone had been over to Coach Archer's house, he has this beautiful garden in his backyard. We were sitting in the porch right there overlooking his garden, and he brings out the Heelan varsity hat. He brings out some binders of all the stuff that his previous teams have done, like the hitters program, the pitchers program, the conditioning, just kind of basically how the program was going to be run, how you're supposed to look. Your cleats and shoes are supposed to be cleaned every day before practice and games. And I had just come from being a bat boy with the Sioux City Explorers, with Mike Winklefleck and Brady Rosser. And so at that time, I just got a very, very small glimpse of professional baseball. And Coach Archer, he kind of described it like, we're going to run some program like a professional baseball program. And it matched up. He was doing a lot of the same things Explorers are doing. And I walked out of that meeting with Coach Archer being like, I want to play for Coach Archer and I want to play for Heelan. And that was probably the first goal that made us an athlete was I want to play for Coach Archer and Coach Heelan when I walked out of that meeting. I ended up making the team as an 8th grader. And it's cool to say that group of 8th graders with myself and 4 of my other buddies. When we became seniors, we ended up winning the first ever state title in Sioux City and Heelan history in 2001. So I always thought that was cool. We came out together as 8th graders, stuck together the whole time, and ended up bringing home the first state title. That 2001 team, I thought it was a special team. You know, Heelan's always been known for multi-sport athletes. Maybe you're a role player in one sport, you're a bench guy and role play in the other sport, and in the 3rd or 4th sport, you're maybe like the star player. And that's kind of described how our 2001 team was described. I just want to kind of run through our lineup real quick, just a few guys of some of the multi-sport contributors we had on this team. We had the Stedman twins, Ben and Brett, who we all know went on to wrestle at Iowa and represent Heelan wrestling very well. They were both 2 unbelievable role players, teammates, and just 2 overall good scrappy guys to have on your team. Those kind of weird little scrappy wrestler guys that were great to have on your team, where if you knew something was going to break out, they're going to be right behind you. We had Dylan Grimsley. Dylan Grimsley, we all know Dylan's basketball talents. He went on to play Division I basketball. I'm confident to say Dylan would have been a Division I baseball player at least. He was very talented as a freshman. He ended up starting right away as a freshman. He ended up producing as a freshman. And then we all saw what he did in the basketball court as well, and the career he had there. So it was very cool for him to come in and contribute right away as a freshman and step up and be a man the way he was right away as a kid. We had Dustin Jones. Dustin Jones was he was a big contributor for us as an underclassman. He was a junior that year playing the outfield. Dustin was a great teammate, great player, did a lot of things well. He went on to have a good career, a really good career at Wayne State University. I'm pretty sure he's All-American there. He went on to play minor league baseball here in Sioux City for quite a while and was a good player for them as well. Dustin was a great contributor on that team for many years there. We also had Mike Winkelpleck and Jared Small, 2 of my best friends growing up. They both made me physically and mentally tougher player ever since we were little kids, and I thank you for that. Both those guys went on to play multiple sports at Morningside College and ended up being All-Americans at Morningside College. Nate Funk. Without Nate Funk, we probably don't win the state championship. I don't know if it was Coach O'Neill or the Stedmans or whoever convinced him to come out to practice one day. But, sorry. Nate comes out to practice one day and he's about 3-4 ground balls deep into his initial workout, whatever, and the whole team's watching, and within 3 or 4 ground balls, everyone in the field knows this guy's our starting shortstop. So now it turns into a recruiting trip of where we got to convince this guy to play for us. And I don't know who sealed the deal and who finally got him to do that, but whoever did that, with his Oni or the Stedmans, whoever, I thank you for that. Because like I said before, without Nate, I don't think we win the state championship. He's an unbelievable player, and I put him in the category of Dylan Bird. He's at least a Division I baseball player, if not a professional baseball player. He's that talented. He comes out there, and I don't know if he hadn't played for 1 year or 4 years or whatever. He came out there and looked like he'd been training all winter for this, and he was a big contributor. And we all saw what he did in the basketball court, which is unbelievable. But him in our lineup, playing a premium position, hitting in a good spot in the order was a big boost for us. Coach O'Neill, I appreciate that introduction. That was great. Coach O'Neill he actually helps me out now for the Minnesota Twins. He keeps an eye on the Des Moines area for me, and he's done a great job with that. He's turned me on to a couple of good players early on before other teams were on them that ended up making a lot of money in this game. So I appreciate Oni for everything he's done in that aspect of helping me out with the Minnesota Twins. Coach O'Neill came in and he filled in for a legendary coach, Coach Archer. Oni was the perfect balance of discipline and the definition of clean baseball manager, but also he's a player's manager. He liked to have fun. We had fun with Oni. We loved Oni. And for Oni to take all of these multi-sport athletes, Iowa baseball is a short window of time you get to work with these players. For him to take all these multi-sport athletes and teach them the game of baseball in such a short window and eventually bring home a state title is something that to this day is very impressive. What he did with that group of players, he's a perfect manager for that group of guys. And I thank you for that. Coach Bork, he was a new pitching coach. He was newer to the program, he was newer to the school. He was a catcher from Wayne State, so we're thinking, what is this guy doing being our pitching coach? He's an amazing job. Coach thought outside the box. He's innovative. We might have been the only team in the state at that time. There might have been another team or two, I'm not 100% sure, but I'd be willing to bet we were the only team in the state at that time with a full-blown dedicated pitching staff. We had starters, we had relievers, and we were down to the bullpen working on stuff, whether that was arm care, running, conditioning, bullpens. It was full-on dedication to the pitching staff. And the hitters did their thing, we did our thing, and honestly, I think that was a separator. We had a lot of guys like Stedman and Ben Giese make huge starts for us down the stretch in that playoff run. And I know I needed that. And some of our other guys did too, and I think that paid dividends. Honestly, I did. So I thank you for that. We also had a group of former Healing Crusader, really good baseball players on the team as coaches. They almost acted like bench coaches. We had Coach Livingston, Coach Tritz, Coach Happy, Coach Moravic. These are guys that we all looked up to when they were upperclassmen. I wasn't old enough to see Coach Tritz play, I'll be honest. But they were all great mentors for us, especially down the stretch and playoff time and big games. They were there in our ear at the right times and really acted as perfect as what they call the big leagues bench coaches, just perfect mentors for us at that time. I was a multi-sport athlete at Healing, and I kind of go back to the category of I was a role player in a couple of sports and probably the best at baseball. I grew up, like a lot of people in here that went to Healing and played sports, I grew up going to the Healing Future Crusader basketball camps, and that's probably when my first love of Healing basketball came in. So when I played varsity basketball as a sophomore, it was a huge honor for me. I always thought my future was probably in baseball, but I love basketball and I love being a part of the Healing program. And that 2001 team, we started off a little rough, a little up and down, feeling each other out. But we ended up going on a heck of a run there and finishing state runner-ups in 2001 with Coach Mooney's our coach. I know I saw him in here before. And anyone who was a part of that team will always remember that run. It's a special group of guys, special coaching staff, Coach Geary, Coach Moody, Coach Betts. Those are the three coaches that could easily been head coaches all around the city at that time. And we had all three of them on our staff. They got us on the same page at the end of the year and went on a little magical run. We came up a little short, but that's something. Anyone who's on that team will always remember that. Football. I played football my freshman year and my senior year. My freshman year, I played for Coach Burchard with the blue team. And it was honestly like the perfect introduction into Healing athletics and the Healing school system. Burchard and Schultz, they deserve so much credit for the success of the Healing program during those couple decades, or if not more, that they were there. I think that success not only streamed throughout the football program, but streamed throughout every male athletic program at that time. You got to Healing as a freshman, and those are the hardest practices you'll have. Those are right away, right off the bat, that's the hardest practices you're going to have as a Healing athlete. And it's a perfect little mini boot camp, little introduction into Healing sports and athletics where they get you buy-in, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, and you're ready to go. And honest to God, I think that paid dividends throughout multiple sports at Healing. So I thank you guys for that. My family that's here, my parents, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for me, my life. I definitely wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for you guys. I appreciate you had many options in Sioux City to send us as kids. I appreciate you guys giving us a Catholic education and ending up at Healing High School, surrounded by all these amazing people to help me grow into a man. With my parents, honestly, I've never had any pressure at all. I've had zero pressure from my parents. It's just been all support, and I thank you for that. And I know the same goes the same with my brother and sister. I know they feel the same way. You guys also raised a couple other pretty good crusaders. My sister over there who traveled from Seattle, I appreciate that. She was an all-elite Iowa State volleyball player. I know at one point she held the kills record at Healing, and she might still hold that for a single season. She went on to play volleyball at Iowa State University, where she's an all-Big 12 player, which is something I'm super proud of. My brother was a four-sport athlete at Healing. He was, overall, he's probably better than if you combine all the sports, he's probably better than me. But at that time, he didn't play Healing golf, so I would have him in that. But again, another really good Crusader athlete, great kid, has an amazing family right now. He's supposed to be here tonight, but had some sickness going through his family right now. But I know he made some very big catches for Healing football. He's a role player similar to like myself in basketball, and he's a very good baseball player. He went on to have a very good career at Wayne State University, where he's an All-American player. A leader of that team for at least 3 years, in the heart of their lineup for at least 3 years, and started for them for quite a while. Ended up being the draft pick of the Washington Nationals his last year. I love following your guys' careers. I didn't get to see Mike play a ton because that's usually the time when I was playing, but I love coming back after the seasons and coming to Ames and watching Mary play. To my family, I just want to thank you guys for everything. I love you. For everyone involved in putting this Hall of Pride together, I want to thank you guys for that. I think this is a great idea, not only to honor the former athletes and the former generations of Healing success. I know a lot of people in this room, we probably took it for granted for a while of just how often Healing athletic programs would get to state, and I was almost expected there for a while. So whoever's idea this was to honor the former athletes and former programs, I thank you for that. I think it's a great idea, not only for the former athletes, but also to give the future athletes something to look forward to and just give them a small glimpse of our history. Everyone who's walked through those doors at Healing knows it's a special place. And I'm very honored to just hold a small piece of history in Healing High School. From that 8th grade summer